All right, we are live. It is currently September 2nd, but we're reviewing yesterday, Friday's action in the futures market for ES, CL, and NQ. So S&P 500, NASDAQ, and crude futures. Let's go. So looking at the yearly, we did have this imbalance up. We were imbalance up. We got this pullback and then took this bullish move up. So technically, we are bullish on this move. However, it does look like we are stalling at this 1.5 standard deviation. So we'll keep an eye on that. But for the day, you know, just kind of went around this day. Not a lot of information we could use. Maybe look for the 44.83. That's what level we were watching. Besides that, can't really use it. And then the quarterly, again, not a lot to use. We did go rotational, so we do expect this 45.71, or I shouldn't say expect, but we're keeping an eye on it as a possible level, and just kind of seeing how our price reacts to this VWAP. If price comes down here, look for longs here. But this is ultimately bullish. Month just ended, so we do have the prior value area of the month of August, and interestingly enough, overnight and then into the open, we did test above, but sellers were able to bring us back inside this prior value area. So it was a look above and fail, which is bearish. So we're keeping an eye on that, and then on the weekly, it looks a little funky. So on the weekly, price did attempt to go in balance up. We did have a few tests at this 45.19 area. So using the information from the plan for Thursday, we were watching 45.20, and we did get some bounces there. So could have took early longs. Ultimately, this does fail and comes back in. So we are watching would be watching 45, 35 for a retest. This is bearish, so the fail to break out was bearish. Taking a look at the TPO, so value kind of in the same spot. We did test above, and interestingly enough, we did pierce the high off of the ninth, the B period high, and also the point of control for August 4th. So we did look above. There was excess here. So higher time frame sellers, we were watching out for that. And as expected, or as anticipated, I should say, because we shouldn't have any expectations, a failure to keep above this point of control, and this B period high was ultimately bearish. And that's something we anticipated, but we did take an interesting move. We'll see. As you can see from the composites, a lot going on here. So let's split this up. Like I said, price tested here, came down. Price came back for another test, came down. 1/3 time, didn't really work, and then we just bounced from there. It's a bit of a weird day, kind of a normal variation, a little trend to it, but yeah. So I spent a lot of time taking a look at the 30-second chart. Is this the 30? This is not the 30. Where's the... Here's the 30-second chart. So something I did notice pre-market, we got this little chop zone, and this is a good range to keep in mind as we do get tested here. So price comes down, and saw this action here. So make that bigger. Let's take a look. I saw this action here, and this did look like higher on the delta, so it looked like we had some divergence. So I did take a little long, stopped out. I did take a short from here, stopped out. So I waited. But then saw price start to hold. I think I entered long around here, around 27, and I held. 27. I think I got about 9 points, so about 36s, right around VWAP. Another option to enter here, but then price traverses. I was expecting rotational. I didn't see a whole large push out of here, so I was anticipating a rotational move. So that was a good target, and then price kind of goes down. We get a little pullback here, so that's a little short opportunity. Price comes down. So at this point, it does look like we are in bounce down. This looks like acceptance outside this developing value area. Get one final pullback, and that's the main opportunity for the day. Could have take this deviation. So let's take a look at NQ. NQ, similar story. Yearly is it's extended. So I was anticipating some sort of bearish move. Quarterly, just like ES, rotational, bullish, monthly. Interestingly enough, we did open above the monthly. We did kind of try to test below it, but then came above. So that's kind of a dissonance with ES. And on the weekly, this 1.5 standard deviation would have been a nice extreme fade opportunity. But technically, we did look and balance up. So I don't know if that's the best move, but in rhythm, you did look for some sort of pullback. So it was all right. And on the TPO, price was migrating higher. Price opened up, but ultimately sellers drove it down. So price came down. Looked like we were going to have a little pullback short opportunity, but watching this price hold here is why I went long in ES. And then seeing this hold here gave me the confidence to hold ES. And ultimately, this didn't traverse. So I think that's why I exited my position early instead of letting it traverse. Price comes down, doesn't really work. This is a pullback opportunity that matched ES, but then we kind of come in and it's not the cleanest action. Something to note: the RTH session, at least on ES, gave us a good opportunity. Let's see if it gives a good opportunity in Q. So we come in. This is prior value area. So if you shorted from 538, could have netted near 40 points there. Just this little pullback and pretty much done for the day. However, we do get this acceptance inside and we get this pullback for a long opportunity from 536 to 584. So almost 50 points there. Price fails to hold above, and then we just kind of come back inside and chop. I do want to go back to ES here because I remember seeing something on RTH. Yeah, so RTH did have this micro little pullback here at 45.34 if you didn't want to get in there. Right here, 45.34 at 9.44 from 45.34, as I mentioned, to 45.22. Could have been a nice little 12-point ripper. Not really a ripper. The delta kind of stays here. Stays level. Interestingly enough, though, the price starts to turn. We break this 5,000 delta, and we do get this pullback here, 45.34. Yet again, interesting. And let's take a look at crude. I wasn't paying much attention to crude. I just kind of had it up. So we were looking here for maybe shorts, but this is a bullish reaction. So ultimately, we were bullish. So these are just kind of old. As I mentioned, bullish move. Month just ended. And the weekly super extended. Look at that value, super high. All right, so, and the ETH, hold up. Looked like a lot of balance. Looked like an imbalance up, I would say. But Delta was just kind of selling. So I've noticed in CL there can be a lot of passive action. So as you can see, we are gumming up, and then we get this pullback. I saw a lot of selling. I didn't want to get in here. Get another pullback. Price continues down. Could have tried an extreme fade here at 85.35 and taken that to 84.65 would have been a nice little gain. But Delta just continues to come down. We do bottom here for a little bit, so maybe you take that long here, but it's not the greatest moves. Take a look at the weekly. Yeah, just the main things. Yeah, we're just watching, relying on these CVAs, and price was rotational here and then began rotating here. Ultimately, successful day. I did net 9 points, closing 41 points up for the week, but we are never satisfied. We can always get better. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Tuesday.